it's an honor to have you and do this. So I'm really, really excited. We're all excited for this. So what I'll do is I'll quickly introduce myself, and then I'll hand over to Rohini and Ying, and then we'll hand you over and start the
Okay.
session and we'll get
Yeah,
the
of
ball
course.
rolling. Yeah. So I'm Shabana. I'm a full stack developer and AI lead for East West Rail, and one of the leader for women coding community. So yeah, Rohini, do you want to give a brief intro?
Sure. Thank you, Shabana. And like she said, I am Rohini and I have like around 14 years experience. And mostly I worked with Azure, .NET. So that's why it piqued my interest to talk with Jane and learn from her even more what's happening in the current state. So looking forward for the session. Thank you.
Ying.
Yeah. Hi, nice to meet you, Jen. So my name is Ying, and I'm currently the director, one of the directors of Women Coding Community. And I'm actually joining today purely as attendee because I'm interested in the Microsoft certificate part and I want to know a little bit about it. So great. Yeah, I think thank you everyone for joining as well. I think the number will slowly growing because in the beginning I had a bit of problem like
Yeah.
trying to get into the meeting as well. Yeah, since we are a small number, if you feel like comfortable about opening your opening your camera or just like talk directly on the course, so it's still fine, and we can have a conversation style of presenting as well. If you don't feel comfortable opening up your camera, it's still fine. Like just send a hello and just basically send something about yourself and something you want to know. Maybe you can answer it as well. It can be both about women coding community and also some can be something information related to Jen's background and also the things she's going to talk about. So yeah, lovely. Okay, I will give the microphone back to you guys.
Thank you, Ying. And I'll hand over to Jane. Jane, looking for it.
Thank you.
And over to you now. Thank you.
Hey, thank you very much for inviting me. It's a privilege to be here. So I have to say right at the start, I don't code. So I feel a little bit intimidated, to be honest. I am not a coder. I'm an infrastructure engineer. I was an infrastructure engineer, but I never could. I tried to learn to code throughout my whole life, actually. I tried to learn basic when I was very young and then various points, and I just never got beyond kind of a certain point. So yeah, so you are certainly kind of I do feel a little bit intimidated being in the presence of a lot of coders. But I think now I stopped being an engineer. I suppose I stopped really being a sort of architect probably about 7 or 8 years ago, and I moved into more strategy and then into learning. So now I manage a team of trainers at Microsoft, team of technical trainers, and it's my job to really understand all of the different skilling offerings that Microsoft has and making sure that we are making the best thing available to everyone. So, and for me, that's a real passion because I didn't have a technical education. I didn't, I have a degree in English, so not computing at all, but I taught myself. And if these resources aren't available and people don't know where they are, then, that avenue is just blocked. So it's really, really important that companies like Microsoft make these resources freely available, and that I can talk to people like yourselves to say, this is what's available, and there is loads and loads and loads of stuff. So so I will talk you through that. Oh, the other thing is because I started working in technology about 25 years ago, and I was the only female engineer in my teams, it wasn't a great place to be honest. It wasn't a particularly kind of inclusive environment. So for me, it's been a real passion. And when I joined Microsoft, I found that actually things could be different and companies could be better, and tech companies could be inclusive. And so I really wanted to share that and work with customers and partners to say this is how we do it better. So I created a sort of brand, if you like, called TechHer. And TechHer has done quite a lot of different things over the years, but what we're doing at the moment is really just doing lots and lots and lots of training for women who are interested in technology, not even necessarily want to get into tech, but just interested really in learning about it. And actually, some of them then do want to move into a tech career. So one of the great things that I've managed to kind of do over the years is change some lives, really, just by talking about tech and sharing this passion for tech with women across lots of companies. And that's how I met Shabana, actually, and by running TechHer for a rail company. And yeah, so it's great to have that passion for sharing technology and being in the sort of position working for Microsoft of actually having a platform to do that. So yeah, so that's me. So what I'm going to do is talk you through some resources. So first of all, I'll talk you through how Microsoft training and certification is shaped, if you like. So how we train, what sort of learning paths we develop. And there's two types in Microsoft. One is sort of traditional certification type training, and one is task-based training. So we have learning pathways that lead to an accreditation, which is an industry recognized accreditation, but we also have task-based accreditations as well, and they're relatively new and they're sort of short form. So I'll talk you through those different types and also some of the great resources which aren't immediately obvious. And I will also send through the links to everything that I show you. So I'm just going to, I don't really ever show slides. I just show what's on websites, and I will send you through the links so you don't need to sort of hastily write things down. So first of all, this is our, let me share my screen actually. It's not going to help if you can't see what I'm talking about. Let's see. I don't know Google all that well, so I hope that then if I do the entire screen, then yeah, that should work. And then does that yeah, can you see certify with Microsoft and GitHub?
Yeah,
you can. Brilliant. Okay, so what I'm showing you here is our training and certification poster, and it's big, so you can only see a corner of it because it's huge. And but I will send you the link to all of this. And what this does is it basically lays out the certification pathways that lead to an accreditation. So all of the learning pathways you see here have an associated Microsoft accreditation. So you do the learning, you take an exam, you gain a Microsoft certification. So we divide our learning into, I suppose, our sort of product areas, if you like, cloud and AI platforms being Azure and sort of the data platform, which is Fabric and Power BI, and also GitHub and a couple of other sort of real specialized learning pathways. So they sit under cloud and AI platforms. And then we have AI business solutions, and these are sort of Dynamics, Microsoft 365 and Power Platform. And then we have security, and security sort of touches all of that other stuff in there. So we have these three sort of solution areas, if you like, and we structure our certifications around those three. We also have different levels. So we always start with the fundamentals, and these fundamentals courses are short, so they are no more than a day, no more than 8 hours, and usually actually shorter, so sort of half a day, most of them. And these are really designed to get people at a sort of common understanding of that particular product. So the most popular course we run, has been for years, is the Azure Fundamentals. And this is really a course which says, what is the cloud? What is the Microsoft cloud? Some terminology, so things like platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, software as a service, explains what those things mean, and also goes into some of the services that are in the cloud, why you'd use it. So what is this, why do people talk about the cloud? What's the point of it? What's the benefit? And some things like governance. So the Azure Fundamentals is a course which can be done by anyone at any technical level, but actually it does have some technical information in it, some technical terms. So people who aren't technical at all sometimes do sort of struggle a little bit with it, just because it's got some, it talks about networking, about storage, about, certain technical concepts. So, but it's a great one for anyone who doesn't know Azure, what's in it and how it works. So that's a good one. And then we have a couple of others. The AI Fundamentals obviously is the AI services in Azure, and this one's my favorite, the AI Fundamentals. It's a really great fun course, and it talks about things like the cognitive services and large language models, and actually it has some labs in it where you can go and build a machine learning model and things like that. So that one's really good fun. And then the data fundamentals is the data platform, and those ones are the sort of the Azure Fundamentals, and they're a great place to start. So when people say to me, where should I start my learning, I always point them at the fundamentals, even if you're sort of quite technical already, because these are a good way to get into the Microsoft products, but also to look at the way Microsoft structures learning. And they also have a certification associated with it. So they have a short exam, these fundamentals, and it's like a 30-minute exam or multiple choice, but they sort of get you used to Microsoft exams and taking remotely proctored exams, because they are remotely proctored. So it's a bit of a strange experience, because you take them at home, but you're watched through your webcam as you take them, and it's kind of weird, to be honest. So they're a really great place to start, is the fundamentals. And then we move to the role-based, and so obviously these are, we moved away from product focused certifications a while back, just because when everything moved to the cloud, it all changes so often now. It didn't really make sense to certify on a product when that product might change, every fortnight. So now we looked at sort of job roles in an organization, and then we looked at the tasks that those roles might do, and then we shape our certifications around those. So in the developer space, we have these two: the developer associate and the DevOps engineer expert. And the expert requires the developer, so it's kind of a next level up, if you like, to do that one. So these ones are focused on the kind of tasks that a developer who uses Azure would perform in an organization. And also the fabric data engineer is also quite interesting. So those ones are sort of developer focused certifications, the industry recognized accreditations. And then we've just absorbed these GitHub courses. Obviously GitHub was, had its own set of accreditations. We bought GitHub quite a while ago, and we've only just sort of started to absorb these learning pathways. So I don't know these. I don't know how they're shaped or what they're like. I think we're in the process of overhauling them, because I think they're quite old. So I can't really vouch for the quality of them, but they now sit with us, and the content for them sits on Microsoft Learn. The good thing is that all of the learning for all of these certifications is available free of charge. So the fundamentals, for example, are available as training courses, as videos, or as self-paced learning. and the role-based courses here, and these are multi-day courses, you know, they're sort of 3-4 day courses. These are available as video-based and also as self-paced learning. The self-paced learning that sits on Microsoft Learn, some of the courses have a sandbox built in. So that's quite a nice thing. So I know the Azure Administrator does. It has a sandbox built in. So it will give you various hands-on tasks to do, and you do them within Microsoft Learn. Can't answer for the developer because, as I said, I'm not a developer. So I wouldn't even try that course, to be honest. It would just be a catastrophe. But the Azure Administrator, it does have a sandbox built in. So you can carry out hands-on tasks. We obviously also do a free trial, and a month's free trial of Azure. You do put in a credit card, but you're not billed. You know, they don't just randomly bill you at the end of the month. It shuts down. The credit card is to verify you're a real person. So if you do want to do any of the training, sign up for the free trial. You get a month of Azure. The good thing about this poster is that it's interactive, so you can actually click on these boxes and it takes you to the website for that particular certification, and it tells you all about what's included in that accreditation, so who it's aimed at, and it also gives you the self-paced learning. So it points you to the course that sits on Microsoft Learn, so you can then work through that sort of content for that course. There's a number of other resources available that sit on this website. One is the practice assessment. So that's a sort of exam, you know, trial exam. It's not an exam environment in that it's sort of just questions, it's just open book, but the questions are quite similar to the real exam. And actually passing the practice assessment is in some cases harder than the real exam. So I always use the practice assessment as I use it throughout my learning process. So I do it right at the start because it tells me then where my knowledge is in various areas, where I'm quite good, where I need some more study, and it also points to where you find the information to answer those questions. So I just do this over and over again, basically, as I go through learning, and then I see my scores improve. Then when I get a pass score on the practice assessment, I think, okay, I'm ready now to take the real exam, because the pass mark on the practice assessment is higher than the real exam. So everything is on the website. That is the exam, the accreditation website, all of that information. The other really good resource, actually, down at the bottom, it says certification resources. The study guides are really detailed breakdowns of exactly what is covered. So, you know, if you think, well, if I want to get this accreditation, exactly what do I need to learn? Then it's all in the study guide in real detail. So that is basically the certification pathways, and you can have a look at all of these, and you can have a look at who they're aimed at and the content, and all of that material is available on Microsoft Learn. So that's the sort of learning, that's the accreditation based learning pathways. The other type of learning that we have is something that's called applied skills. Now, we realized, this is probably now, where are we, about, it's nearly 2 years actually. Not everybody wants to learn, you know, you want to learn a product. Maybe you just want to learn how to do one thing. Maybe you don't want to spend 4 days in a classroom. You just need to do one thing. So we launched this applied skills set of accreditations. They all focus on doing one thing. So this one, for example, automate Azure load testing by using GitHub Actions. This is going to be a short learning pathway. And again, the learning material is here. It's all there. It says 3 hours. It's probably slightly shorter, to be honest. You can work through the learning. And then there is a lab-based assessment. So you have to do the task you've just learned to do. And then how well you do that task is then assessed by AI, and then you gain an applied skill accreditation. So I really like these. There's a big range of them. They cover all sorts of different products, different tasks, you know, all different options in there. And they all have this kind of learn for half a day, then do a lab-based test of the skill you just learnt, and then gain an accreditation. So it's a really short learning journey. I found it really good fun, to be honest. I did a few. Thought they were great. So, and these are all free. So, you know, you can just kind of go through this and have a look, and you know, just pick out the ones you want and work through them if you want to develop some new skills. So really, really good, nice kind of way of learning, I think, the applied skills. So there's those two ways that we have of kind of making learning available to you. Everything sits on Microsoft Learn. Microsoft Learn is our sort of learning, is a repository for all Microsoft learning content. The good thing about Microsoft Learn is that it's all up to date. So the products change constantly. It can be quite exhausting trying to keep up with them. The worst thing is, honestly, is going and doing a course on YouTube or something, and then you find out that the product that you've just learned about has changed, and you know, it just doesn't apply. But at least on Microsoft Learn, everything you see is up to date. So you can, there's various ways that you can use Microsoft Learn. It's a free public website. You don't have to set up a profile. You don't have to register. Definitely a good idea to register, because it saves your progress if you register. So you register using a personal email, and it saves the progress as you work through the courses, because some of them are quite long, and you know, if you had to keep trying to remember where you got to, it'd be annoying. And then they have these levels and these kind of experience points and things like that. You know, there's various different parts to Microsoft Learn. We have things called plans, which are quite a nice way of grouping together content and then working through it. And you can also invite other people to work through the same content. And also it does, your credentials sit in Microsoft Learn. So any applied skills that you've achieved, they sit in Microsoft Learn. And any certifications that you've passed, they also sit in Microsoft Learn. So Microsoft Learn is kind of is where all of your Microsoft accreditations will sit. And obviously you need a profile to do that. So you set up your profile, set it up in a personal email, don't set it up in a work email, because obviously if you leave the company that you work for, you then lose your Microsoft, you lose access to your accreditations. It's pretty difficult, if not impossible, to get that back. So do set up your Microsoft Learn profile using a personal email. So all of your Microsoft accreditations sit in Microsoft Learn. Good thing is that they are free to renew. So used to be the case that you sat your Microsoft accreditation and it's a 3-hour exam. So for example, the solution architect is actually 6 hours of exams, so it's pretty hefty. And after 2 years, it would just expire and you'd have to sit 6 hours of exams again. So that was not a lot of fun. Now it's all free to renew. So we have this like open book renewal system. So you are invited to renew your cert, and this happens once a year. And what you do is go through a renewal assessment, and it's not an exam, it's just an open book assessment. So if I just show you, this is free of charge. And it just gives you questions. So, you know, if I don't know the answer to that, I can just go and look it up, because it's not timed and it's not moderate. Well, it is timed actually, 2 hours, but that's plenty of time, to be honest, for 25 questions. I can go and look that up. So keeping on top of your certifications is pretty simple. You just have to make sure that you're getting the reminders and they're not going into spam. So, you know, if you do let your certification lapse, there's no way back apart from retaking the exam, which is kind of annoying. So it's really nice that you can go through that process of learning, studying, achieving your certification, and then you can just kind of keep those up to date by that annual, just going through these sort of 25 questions. By the way, you can use Copilot. You can literally paste this into Copilot, but it's spiked and it won't give you the right answer. It will give you an answer, not necessarily the right one. So somebody told me, you know, I put the answers in the Copilot and I failed the exam, and you know, what's that about? But yeah, that's not the point really, is to Copilot everything or OpenAI everything. It doesn't work. So you kind of have to know what you're doing, but it's quite fun to do it and see what happens. Yeah, so that is the Microsoft accreditations, your certifications and your applied skills. So I'll just stop sharing a minute and just ask if there are any questions at this point.
So we don't have any questions in the chat, but yeah, happy
Okay.
for anyone to.
Can I ask one question?
Yeah,
so,
of course.
So I had a look of all the skill set. Like, I'm wondering, I can notice that the most of the skill set actually relies on Azure. Sorry about the pronunciation. Like Azure platform.
Yeah.
Is that the case for almost most of these skill sets?
Yes. Yeah. So, well, apart from GitHub, which obviously is sort of focused on GitHub, the Microsoft accreditations are designed to help you use Microsoft products. So yeah, pretty much everything that we offer a certification in will be based on using Microsoft products. Yeah.
Another question I want to ask is, would that actually, so having a few Microsoft certificate like credentials, is that going to help us if we are trying to apply for roles within Microsoft?
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely. I mean, it depends on the role, but absolutely, people would expect you to come into Microsoft with a good grounding in Microsoft products. And I think if you can show certifications and accreditations, then absolutely, that's definitely going to put you kind of further in the queue. Well, we get 60 to 70 applications for pretty much every job. So if you aren't able to demonstrate a knowledge of the products, then yeah, that pretty much rules you out. So it definitely does help.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. So if there are no more questions on that, I will just move on.
I think there is one here.
Oh, okay.
Just come in now. So does Microsoft regularly offer voucher or discounts for certifications?
Yes. So it depends on the certification. So there is, and actually this changes. So the fundamentals certifications, they have a standing 50% discount. So they cost about £70 to do a fundamentals exam, but there is a standing 50% discount if you attend one of the courses. And I will send you a link to that site where you sign up for the training courses, and they're free. So you can just sign up basically, and you don't have to attend the whole course. You can just log in, you know, I mean, you can attend the whole course, but if you just want the voucher, you can attend sort of 10 minutes and then they will email you a 50% discount voucher. The other thing is that we quite often have promotions relating to certain areas. There was an AI skills challenge promotion that ran through the summer, which gave people an exam voucher as a sort of award for taking part. And we often run exam discount promotions in conjunction with our events. So Ignite's coming up in November, and quite often you'll see kind of a skills challenge relating to an event. We also offer a 50% discount to a lot of companies through our Enterprise Skills Initiative program. So it's worth, if you work for whatever company you work for, if you link your Microsoft Learn profile. So on Microsoft Learn, you set up your profile with a personal account. There's in your profile settings, there's an option to link it to a work account. If you do that, and then you go to book an exam, it only shows up at checkout, but quite often your company will be eligible for a 50% discount through ESI. So that's worth checking. And the place to look is Microsoft Learn. So quite often on Microsoft Learn, there's a banner across the top that says, you know, get a exam discount voucher. Also students get 50% off. So if you've got an AC email address, a student email address, then that also in certain circumstances gets you 50% off. So there's a lot of ways that you can get a discounted voucher, but you do have to sort of keep an eye out for those promotions.
Thank you. Yeah, great. I think Rohini and Ying have raised their hands. Rohini, do you want to go ahead?
Actually, Jane already covered that part. So I was about to say that 50% discount. So one of my company I was working for, they had a partnership with Microsoft. So it's better to check with your company. So
Yes.
like Jane mentioned, I was able to get the certification with my personal account, but still, because I was an employee of the partnered company, I got the 50% discount.
Yeah. Yeah, perfect. That's exactly right. Yeah, if you link your email addresses, then you will see that discount if you're eligible.
Yeah. And also one more point, Ian was asking before, like how would it add value to the certification in my resume? So one of the example was that I did AI fundamentals, but I was into development side of developer associate side. But when I was talking to business developers and who is not technical people, they would say that, okay, this proves that I know the fundamentals of AI. So you can talk to me about that. So it kind of gives you the credentials when you put that in your resume or profile. That's one added advantage when you do that fundamentals kind of.
Definitely, yeah, absolutely. It does show that kind of that awareness of the business side of things. So yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Ying, did you want to ask a question?
Yeah, I think the question got answered. So yeah, I kind of confused the credential and the certificate. So the course is free, but the certificate is actually I need to pay for an exam.
The exam, yeah, taking the exam. So I want to do is I'll share my screen again. If I do that, share that. So if we look at this one here, so if we go to, for example, the Azure fundamentals, if we scroll down, you will see this schedule exam button here.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, if we look at UK, it's £64. So that's how you would book the exam. If you have a voucher code or you are entitled to a discount, it will appear as you go through the scheduling process because it is Pearson VUE who administer the exams, not Microsoft. So you don't see the discount till you go through to Pearson VUE. The exams they run 24 hours a day, multiple languages. You can do them at home. I always do my exams at home. You just have to do it in a room with no papers or books or anything, you know, because you have to photograph your desk from all angles. And you, as I said, you're watched through the webcam. So it's quite a weird experience. But after you've done it once, it's fine.
Okay.
So yeah, so there's that cost for an exam. So that's so those are, you know, the two different ways you can learn, and I will send you all of the links. So just some additional resources. We have I mentioned the training courses, that the fundamentals are actually available as training courses. We call them Microsoft Virtual Training Days, And actually, they're only half days. I don't know why they call them training days, because they're only ever half a day. And we do the fundamentals, and we do lots of others as well. And these are all free. So these are actually recordings of the trainer delivering the course. So it is a video of the trainer, but there's live moderators on chat. So if we have a look at this one here, then it is a scheduled event, because there are actually kind of live moderators on chat, so you can ask questions as you go through. So this virtual training day site enables you to book, you know, the fundamentals courses, the there's the Azure fundamentals courses, and as far as I don't think things have changed, but you yes, so if you complete a course, you will get a 50% discount off the exam. So if you do want to take an Azure Fund or any of the fundamentals exams, then do sign up for one of these, and then, you know, you can kind of have it running in the background if you don't want to listen to it. And you need to sort of be on there maybe 10 minutes, maybe half an hour, but you will get the 50% discount voucher. So, and there's lots in here apart from, you know, there's some great courses in here. We do release new ones all the time. So definitely worth sort of bookmarking this site. There's some nice security ones. I'll send you the link. It's good. I like the VTTs. They're quite fun. So that's the training courses, and they're all free and unlimited. So you can just, you know, have a look at what interests you. The other thing that we have is videos. So we have, and they're quite hidden. They do sit on Microsoft Learn, but they're a bit hidden, which is annoying. Got to know where they are. But these are those courses that I showed you on the, you know, these courses here that are Microsoft trainers, because we have a team of trainers delivering that course, but in modular videos. So for example, the Azure Developer, it's available as a video, 29 short videos, and you can just, you know, basically watch Microsoft trainers delivering that course. And almost all of the popular courses are on here. Some of the more obscure ones aren't, some of the brand new ones aren't, but all of the big courses are actually on here. So you can, you know, and it's free. Again, it's free, no charge. You can watch those videos, and you can also pick the bits, you know, the modules that interest you. So this is a really good resource to kind of, again, have bookmarked. It's not that easy to find for some reason. And then finally, we have this quite nice website here, which is called our Learning Pathways, which one of my colleagues actually maintains. So this is not an official Microsoft site, so it's not branded. But what my colleague has done is he's taken the certifications plus some other stuff, and he's picked out all of the self-paced content that's relevant to that particular course. So for example, the Azure Developer, he's picked out all of the content, and he's just put links to it. So he does this, and it takes him hours, but he really enjoys doing it. So this is, again, a really great resource because you know, this is all free and public. So you can, and you've got all the links to the video and the practice assessments, all this stuff. So it's all here really in one place on this pathways site. And there's other stuff, you know, in here, Fabric AI, all kinds of things. That's everything in one place, and you can just kind of look at the ones you want, and it's all free and it's all public, and it's all here. So this, again, is a really, really great resource that's available to you if you want to find you know, Microsoft Learning, and just without struggling through all stuff, you know, all sorts of different things and wondering where it all is. So yeah, so there's really, really lots of different ways that you can access Microsoft Learning. And then, of course, you know, there is just Learn. So you know, if you're sort of, if you just want to know about one thing, you know what it is, then you can always just go to learn and you can kind of search. So today I want to know about Python in Excel, and then, you know, you can just search for that, and it's gonna not always come up with anything useful, but it will come up with anything that's there relevant to that particular subject. So again, Microsoft Learn, really useful. There's so much there. There's just huge amounts that you kind of got to know what you're looking for. But, you know, these other ways of finding learning, whether it's a whole learning pathway, it's an applied skill, a video, you know, it's all there. It's easy to find once you know where to find it. So, so I will send you a list of all of the links that I've talked about today. Hopefully that should help you find the things you want. If you do have any questions, please find me on LinkedIn. I am the one on the motorbike, so as a little, you can't see it's me because I've got a helmet on, but it's me on the motorbike. Please do connect on LinkedIn. Please ask any questions. Always happy to help. So, this has been useful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been great. Even I, like, you know, haven't gone through tech. I still found so many things. I'm like, oh wow, this is new.
Most
So
people don't know about all this stuff. You know, it's ridiculous. There's so much stuff, and most people really don't know it's there. So always happy to share it.
great. I do have a question.
Yeah, of course, of course.
So, you know, with the Azure AI Azure AI fundamentals and then the developer exams, do you get access, or is there a way to access the Azure AI sandbox or something that you can start?
Yeah, so I don't know exactly which courses have a sandbox. I know the AI Fundamentals doesn't, which is annoying because it's got labs in it. So it's kind of frustrating that that one doesn't. So I always just say, look, sign up for a free trial. You know, when you're ready to do your learning, sign up for a free trial, and then just make sure you sign up at the point where you're ready to do your learning, and then do your learning, and then you get a month of the trial. And then, when the trial ends, it will just shut down, and that's that. So yeah, it's really unfortunate that it's a bit inconsistent in terms of what has a lab on MS Learn and what doesn't. And I know they're trying to do that. They're trying to put more on there. So hopefully we will see more of that. But yeah, the only way, if there isn't a sandbox, is to sign up for a free trial, unfortunately.
Okay, no, that's great to know.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, so does anyone have questions? Last few questions before we close? No one? No? And there's no messages on either. So yeah, thank you, Jane. This has been great. Thank you so much for taking some time out and doing this. We really, really appreciate this. And I'm sure we're really looking forward to putting all the information on our newsletter. So we run a newsletter.
Okay.
So
Great.
yeah, we've just been talking about this, that, after this event, we want to put it out there. So once I receive the links, I will also add that in the newsletter. So it'll be great.
Fantastic. Lovely. Okay. Well, thank you very much for taking the time. I hope this has been useful. And yeah, do reach out and connect on LinkedIn.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
everyone. Have a good evening.
Thanks
Cheers.
all.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye.